Well, here we are, late May, early June. Strike King boys called me up and said, hey Mark, what do you think about doing a little ledge fishing show at Pickwick? Didn't take much to get me out the front door, load up the old bass boat and head to Pickwick. This is one of my favorite bodies of water in the country. It's one of my favorite times of year in the country, or all year. And man, I'm just excited to come out. We're just gonna do a ledge fishing show. We said at first, we're gonna do a 10XD, 6XD, 5XD show. They're not on a lot of those places, cranking holes where we catch them. There are a few, and I think we can catch some cranking today. But I just wanted to showcase Strike King's entire lineup of baits that people may not think about all the time. We've just got some of the best ledge fishing baits in the country. I want to show you some luge rods and reels, and just have a fishing show on one of my favorite bodies of water. I'm excited to get out here and maybe help you guys catch a few more fish and show you how to catch them out off the bank, and use your electronics, running the gamut with ledge fishing lures and showing you what I do in the process. So I'm gonna shut up. Let's get out here and find us some fish. You know, one of my favorite baits to throw right out of the gate on these schools is a football jig. I can do a lot with it. I can cover the bottom if they're tight to the bottom. Right here, these fish are right on that little drop, and they weren't high in the water column. They were hopping it high off the. That's a typical average bass on the Tennessee River, maybe. As you can see, this fish is probably post-spawn, but he's real fat, starting to feed back up. A lot of fun. But that's a 1 ounce football, tour grade football jig from Strike King, green pumpkin, blue crawl trailer. I put a little chartreuse on it to give it a little flash. But again, I can rip that football jig up, make them react, you know, like a big bluegill coming through their school. Or I can, like there, when I marked those fish, they were sitting right on the toe of that, I mean, not all the way down at the bottom, but right on that little edge. Well, a crankbait or something comes over that kind of fast, where this football jig just kind of rolls off the edge. Strike King has got the best football jig on the market, 5/0 hook, kind of almost a recessed line tie. The line tie is so tight to it. The perfect weed guard, it's not too stiff, just right for offshore fishing, because a lot of times you have a lot of line out, fluorocarbon, you know, it stretches a little bit. So to be able to get a good hook set, you can't have a really tight, thick weed guard. Just a great head design, man. A lot of work went into that, and I believe we got the best one on the market. Old 6XD fish. See, these are real long. He needs to feed. He hadn't been feeding up too good. Good average size fish. If you throw your football jig long enough, you can catch one this size. It takes a while, but you have to keep casting and stay at it. Just stay at it, work at it. You'll catch one of them. have something for your aquarium. They were fired up a little bit when I caught that one, and then I got to talking and we drifted off a little bit, so I just need to throw something down there to get them in a better mood. Or we can keep trying the football jig just a minute. See, there's no, in ledge fishing, there is no definite anything. It's a good little chunk. Fat, you can tell they're feeding back up. He hooked on the bottom lip. Y'all know what that means, don't you? If you do, call me and tell me, because I don't know. He's getting a little fatter. Folks, if you like fishing offshore with a crankbait, come out here on the Tennessee River, get you a sack full of the shizzles, 10XD, 6XD, 5XD. You know, there's still shallow fish to be caught while you're ledge fishing. Don't think that, again, it's not a 25-foot ledge falling into a river and you have to be throwing a crankbait or a football jig, something like that. There's, right out here on the Tennessee River, there's shallow bars. There's 8, 10-foot mussel bed bars, or shallow bars that are made of mussel bed and hard rock and things. I can't tell you how many times I've been out there throwing a 6XD football jig and they start busting, and I reach in there and I'll get a sexy dog out, fire out there and catch it. Or I see a place where they're porpoising on big gizzard shad and I pull out a 2.5 or a 4.0 or an 8.0 and catch those fish cranking it up on those 7, 8, 10-foot bars. So yeah, it doesn't necessarily have to be a deep ledge. You can still catch fish shallow out off of the bank. Ledge fishing is away from the bank, not necessarily deep. Ooh, I got 2. A lot of times guys say, I can't believe, how do you catch 2? Well, you get the best equipment in the world. You get out here and you idle, and that's what you come up with. That wasn't staged. That was raw, right off the cuff. Somebody at home sitting on the couch with your popcorn and your Pepsi Cola, help me out a little bit, please. Would somebody help? Oh. The 6XD is not just a crankbait made in China that Strike King bought and said, we're gonna put Strike King's name on it. They listened to the pro staff and they developed the best deep diving crankbait on the planet. Right there, you're looking at it. Just happens to be the shizzle. Sometimes they're in very aggressive feeding moods. Me too. I'm about to get me something to eat here in a minute, and I'm gonna be aggressive with it. And then there's times whenever, I'll just snack on a peanut, or, you know, I don't really have to have it. And then there's times whenever you're full and you don't want to eat at all. Fishing's kind of the same way. They relate the same. I mean, they're full, or they're kind of feeding, or they're not feeding at all, and you just have to adjust your techniques accordingly. If you're throwing that 6XD out and you're not catching them that way, get up on top of the bar, throw out where you were. See, that fish is fat, feeding up. They're out here on the edge of this current, feeding up. The XD lineup of crankbaits is that little, you see that little curve right there, right out on the end of the lip. It's streamlined, it's not a lot of plastic, and what that does is it makes it really comes through the water real efficient. It's not a big blob of plastic like you see a lot of crankbaits out there. It's very aerodynamic, I guess you would say. And that allows water to flow right underneath that bill, making good contact with the bait and giving it a lot better action. This truly is the best deep diving crankbait on the planet, in my opinion. I mean, I know I have Strike King on my hat, but I have to lay my head on my pillow at night, and I can truly say that's the best deep diving crankbait. And I've played with them all, still do. I test them, I challenge them, I compare them. Nothing outfishes it. Here we go. When you stop catching them on a crankbait, move around, use your electronics, change positions, change angles. You can get right back to catching them. What happens is, you know, they hang out in groups down there. They feed in groups, and you catch one, and you know the whole school or 5 or 6 swim out with that one, and then you catch another one in 5 or 6. Before you know it, you've moved the school around, and then you stop and talk like I'm doing now, and they're just sitting around floating and reposition. So you have to just kind of fan cast, but you know it can't be too easy. You got to work at it. Some all sizes mixed in there. We've seen 3-pounders all the way down to small ones. They're all fun though. There's something about that old on a crankbait rod. You don't never know what it is. It might be 7 ounces. Sometimes them old bigger girls will hang out there. Here we go, Owen. I got a mussel on the front hook and a fish on the back hook. That's why these places are so good. They're like dinner plates on the Tennessee River. Live mussels. Those fish just hang around them. That's where they call home. The single biggest thing, most important thing, the asterisk beside ledge fishing is using your electronics and finding them. You can use a lot of these baits that we're talking about, the soft plastics, hard baits, crankbaits, spoons, all that. If you're not around them, you're not gonna catch them. So time behind that wheel is the single most important thing that I can tell anybody, that you need to spend way more time there practicing and finding the fish than you do right here fishing. I come off of a stump, I was hung, and I was just about to tell everybody at home, when you come off of a stump, don't give up on it, because that's a time when you could catch a big one. Oh, big. This fish has got a 6-pound mouth and a 3-pound body. He's starving to death. Okay, my crankbait was hung, and I gave it some slack. It came off, and the fish, as soon as that bait took off again, he ate it. That was pretty cool. See, that's what those little hidey holes can get you, is a few extra fish. And sometimes you do that and pull up there and it'll be a 5 and a 4, you know, the two that you need. Although these fish are awful nice to catch. 10XD, no other bait I know of could have got me down into those fish. Ah, no, he came back and got it. Missed him the first time and he came back and got it. Ugh. Oh, fatty.
Oh, what you got? Go.
They just try to get up there and lick that old 10XD and eat it. Pretty chunk. Back for you to be able to catch when you come on the Tennessee River and chunk you a 10XD. This is the joy of cranking right here. You don't know what he is.
They're gonna be in my shot.
I've either got him foul hooked or he's a good one. He's a good one. A better one. There's us a 4-pounder. There's nothing like that old head shake. Won't. Only on Strike King television shows where you get sound effects. Won't. I wish I had 1 cent for every fish I caught on a Strike King Sexy Shad 6XD. Just 1 cent. When we got them, we got to take advantage of it. I love my job. I work for the best company in the world. Companies, got lots of them. Just a little chunk. You keep catching them chunks, you get your old big chunk. I love it. Hashtag we got them fired up. Hashtag we got them fired up, boys. Nobody steal that one from me. Oh, big girl. 6XD in his face. Well, folks, the front is coming in. I got a wife and 2 girls back home that I'm kind of fond of. I'm ready to go visit. It has been a blessing to be out here on my favorite body of water, having fun ledge fishing. God bless you all. I'm gone. I can't leave. I got a couple more holes to hit. I didn't mean to close it out right then. It's been a good day. We gone.